in totally different languages, like in dramatic play, or they know what they're talking about.
They know what's going on.
Because they, you know, they're really picking up on the importance of those social communication cues. You know, they pick up on those things.
Communicating without words.
How about kids that share the same DNA?
Say that again.
There's just a lot of research that says that twins have their own language. People that share the same DNA can communicate with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so interesting. I mean, even the way one imitates the other, and I mean, they're so young, but they also understand, you know, one stops and the other one starts. I almost said talking, not talking, but you know, one starts making noise, one stops. And I thought it was really funny. It comes back to that hot buttons thing we talked about, and I thought about the sass. You know, it sounds like he's saying, touch the hand, yeah. So yeah, it's just a really, really great depiction of, you know, communicating. It doesn't always have to be through words. It's important to remember, especially children with challenging behaviors. They might not be saying anything, but that could be speaking volumes. Even if they're sitting in the corner quietly, that could be, you know, saying a lot. So we're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about, is anyone familiar with the making deposit strategy? Colleen, you've heard of that before?
Fill your bucket.
Yep, kind of like fill your bucket. What we've talked about it a bunch today, Catherine's brought it up too, is that 5-to-1 positive to negative ratio. It's something that I really like to do as well. I try to just do that in my own life anyways, is keep that ratio. I mean, I don't think you can ever have too much positivity. You know, it's really important to keep in mind when you're doing that. And just like the filling the bucket kind of strategy is making that deposit, you know, being positive, limiting those, you know, those test questions or, you know, demanding things of children. I mean, it can really be said that it all adds up. You know, those deposits, those positive pieces that you implement in your day, those add up. Things such as learning to wait one at a time, modeling, self-talk, parallel talk. You know, those things all add up to a really facilitating a positive relationship with a child. As well as the same can be said for those withdrawal. I mean, those you know, negative things that can cause withdrawal. You know, they add up as well. You know, those no's, those don'ts. You know, stop it. Don't run across the room. Only walk. You know, those add up too. You want to be careful and really maintain that 5-to-1 ratio.
What is asking a test question? Sorry, is there an example of that? Because I don't know.
So asking a test question might be like, not in a contradictory sense, but asking a child, not as though you're interested, but asking them kind of, maybe implying that they're wrong.
Or it's just checking their knowledge. What color is the bear? Is this yellow or orange?
You know, you're testing them.
Got it. Okay.
You know, you're searching for an answer and you're trying to see if they're going to come up with the right one.
Okay.
I mean, think about it as an adult. If Catherine said to me, let's see what color is that box, you know, I'm going to be like, what do you mean what color is that box? I can see it's blue. You know, it might be kind of negative.
Like obvious, like it's obvious and require you in a position. Okay.
Yeah.
Sarcasm that way, I think.
Actually, we're going to see a really good example of it when we do the role playing.
Yes,
Role playing
exactly.
has a bunch of
We're going to do
tests.
an activity here and actually coming up pretty quickly. That's a lot of fun. So these are just a few examples of adult-child interactions that are very positive. You know, things that to keep in mind when you're interacting with a child, such as using the responsive, you know, physical contact, responding well to the child, greeting their child by name. I know we talked about this earlier, but I think that's so great, even with an adult. Oh, Kelsey, I'm so glad you're here today. You know, that could really go a long way with a child. And it's something so simple. You know, it doesn't take any planning, doesn't take much at all. All it takes is a couple words, and it starts their day off completely on a different note. So these are two strategies that are so helpful when developing a relationship with a child, such as giving children attention when they are engaging in appropriate behaviors. We've talked about that quite a bit today. Positive reinforcement, you know, positive feedback, as well as monitoring our behavior to ensure that we're spending more time using positive descriptive language. Jess touched on that too, you know, changing your language, that reframing activity that we did. It's a simple way to make a big difference. So these are just a few examples that child care centers have used for adults. These are from the Primetime Early Learning Center. I'm not exactly sure where that is. Do you know what it is? I'm assuming it's a demonstration site.
Yeah, it's just an example of a center that's doing a good job.
Yeah, that's using pyramid.
It's not anything we're supposed to be.
Mhm.
It looked like the site's an older site.
Oh, it could have been. I'm not quite sure where they are, but they're just examples that they've used for other adults around the center. You know, no, don't say don't, things like that, and that smiley face. And these are a couple other examples of things that they've done. They've been using that making deposits activity, and I think we talked about this last Thursday that there is a center that here in Summit that does that has those.
The bucket.
Oh, it's filling the
so
bucket.
different
They have-
places have, pictures of buckets, which is this very similar, if not the same analogy, as filling a bank.
Making deposits, you know, into that bank, filling up the piggy bank. You know, just looking at program-wide implementation, you know, pyramid works best when it's implemented to fidelity. You have a leadership team. This is something that you could do program-wide, even outside your classrooms. Do this with your coworker. Do this with your co-teacher. You know, simple little things that you can do. So that activity that we were talking about, what we're going to do is we're going to do a role-playing activity. And this activity actually comes from the Positive Solutions for Parents training, which is a training from Pyramid that we do right here in Summit. Catherine is actually teaching it all in October. Yeah, the dates are all in October, which is a really great parenting class that, you know, parents can do, and we're hoping to do more of that in Summit County. So, like I said, we're going to do a role-playing activity. So is there anyone that really wants to be involved in a role-playing activity? I will need a parent and a child.
I'll do it.
So would you like to be my parent? That would be awesome. Thank you very much, Susan. She'll be a great parent. And now, would anyone like to be the child? Maria, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So what we're going to do is, come on up here, you guys. So we're going to do a brief role-playing activity. Maybe we'll have you guys stand up here. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to give you these role-playing scripts. And yeah, Captain, you can go ahead and check it out. And I won't make you guys be in videos.
That's the end. Come on.
So I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to give you a guy maybe 2 minutes to go over. We're going to do role-playing scenario number 2. And